Hi, I'm Keith, and this is Tau SF, a channel where I'm going to be doing book hauls, book reviews, and more reviews on different aspects of science fiction. And today, why not start off with a book haul? I found some great things in my province in Canada today, and I'm very excited to show it with you. So, first off, Michael Moorcock's The End of All Songs, which apparently is the final volume in the Dancers at the End of Time trilogy. Speaking of, Michael Moorcock's The Hollowlands, which is volume 2 of this trilogy. I have not found the first one yet, but look at this cover. It's amazing. I have no idea what this is. I know it's published by Golance, but the Fraxili Fracas. I might be mispronouncing that, but this is a crazy cover. It's amazing. I think I've seen this artist before, John Higgins, but I don't remember any titles by him. Now, I've seen some people talking about this author, so I'm very curious to start reading him. But I found some Ian Watsons. So, Chekhov's Journey, The Slow Birds, and Savage Rights. And these are story collections. Chekhov's Journey is a novel, which is about time travel, I think, to the past, or there's an actor probably pretending to be Chekhov. The Soviet Film Unit's latest project is to make a picture called Chekhov's Journey. They try out a new method of hypnosis on the main actor to make him reincarnate Anton Chekhov. And possibly it seems that Chekhov knew of the famous 1908 Tunguska explosion back in 1890. Next, the actor is projected forwards in time into a Soviet time ship, which is plunging down towards the Tunguska region, completely out of control. The Stanislavski film unit of Krasnovska, I'm probably mispronouncing that, I apologize, is caught off by an impenetrable fog. The phones are working and yet not working. Hypnotic reincarnation seems to have gone too far. Sounds amazing. I did get a package in the mail today from the UK. And that's Clifford Simak's City in a Sphere edition. And it smells a bit like damp. So I'm not used to that. We're very dry weather out here. But I've seen so many channels talk about City. I'm excited to read it. Some more Moorcock. 2 copies of The Time Dweller. And I'm not sure which one I might keep. They both have amazing covers. This one is a Mayflower edition, and the other one is a Daw. And they're both a collection of short stories by Moorcock. I have to decide on that one. Another Moorcock. Very Moorcock heavy today. The Sundred Worlds. And one of his earlier novels, I believe. Published by the Paperback Library. Beware the Thrawn. Beware the Thrawn. They live only for the death of Earth. Wonderful. Now, one of my favorite sci-fi authors is Robert Silverberg. So finding a Corgi edition of his short stories, this one is Sundance and Other Short Fiction Stories, I'm very excited to read, but I think I've read some of these stories before. It does have Something Wild is Loose in it, and The Pain Peddlers, and I know I've read those too. But I couldn't pass it up. That is an amazing cover. Look at that spaceship. Who did the art? It doesn't say. That's amazing, though. This awesome 90s cover of Frederick Pohl's Man Plus, published by Bain. This is the only Ballard book I came across, The Unlimited Dream Company. And it probably fits on the speculative fiction side of SF. From the moment Blake crashes his stolen aircraft into the Thames, the Unlimited Dream Company takes over, and the town of Shepperton is transformed into an apocalyptic kingdom of desire and stunning imagination, ruled over by Blake's messianic figure. Tropical flora and fauna appear, pansexual celebrations occur regularly, and in a final climax of liberation, the townspeople learn to fly. Hard-edged brilliance as a New Statesman. Well, I guess we gotta trust them. New English Library edition of John Brunner's The Stone That Never Came Down. Very excited for this one. Bob Shaw's Cosmic Kaleidoscope in a Pan edition. And this is another one I've seen channels talk about. Book short stories by Bob Shaw. Never read anything by him. Can't wait to dig into this. Now, Philip K. Dick. Really hard to come by out in the wild, but I found 3 copies. The Zap Gun, published by Pyramid. We Can Build You, published by Daw. And Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said, also published by Daw. And I have this one in the Library of America collection by Philip K. Dick. But these other 2 aren't in that collection. So I'm very happy to expand my library on Philip K. Dick. Brian Aldiss's Greybeard. Another Bob Shaw, Medusa's Children. Wonderful cover. Look at those fish. A World of Water, A World of Earth. The clan knew almost nothing of the giant globe of water in which they lived. They knew only the unending quest for precious bubbles of air, the omnipresent fear of a giant tentacled Hora, and Ka, the dark brooding presence at the core of their world. But Ka, age-old master of the Hora, knew that the liquid planetoid, the ancestors of the clan, and Ka itself, had originated on Earth. The way was open for return and for conquests. Love that plot. That's great. This is a Airmont edition of James Blish's The Duplicated Man, co-written by Robert Londace, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Copyright date of 1964. Very cool. Very excited for this next author. Barry N. Malzberg, and I found a bunch of his stuff. You might hear one of my cats. Apologize about that. So, we have Hurwitz's World in an Arrow edition. On a Planet Alien, published by Pocket Books. Also by Pocket Books, The Sodom and Gomorrah Business. And what is happening here on this cover? It's like one of those mirrors that you put down the middle, and then it will reflect the other side of your face to try to make a whole face. That's crazy. I love it, though. Scope. It's almost like scoop. Scope. Scop? I know it's about the JFK assassination. That's about all I know about of it, and can't wait to read it. That was a Pyramid Edition, by the way. Next, we have an Ace, the Cross of Fire. In the far future, has become possible in advanced psychotherapy for a man to be given dreams as vivid as reality, in which he may play any part he chooses. If that man were inclined to see his life as a struggle between good and evil, and if he were blessed with a profound sense of the black humor inherent in his situation, he might choose to play the part of Jesus, called the Christ. If he were inclined to write a book, it might be this one, The Cross of Fire. Sacrilegious. Should be a good read, though. Very excited for these, because one of my favorite film directors is John Carpenter, and 3 Carpenter adaptations. The Thing, adapted by Alan Dean Foster, based on the screenplay by Bill Lancaster. This is published by Bantam Books, and this one's hard to come by. Also by Bantam, Escape from New York, adapted by Mike McQuay. And Halloween 3, published by Jove, with a adaptation by Jack Martin. And this is one of my favorite covers of a movie ever. I have a original one-sheet poster. It's a folded one, though, and has a tear, but I lovingly keep it on my wall. Fritz Lieber's Conjure Wife. Not sci-fi. This is a horror or horror fantasy, but this was made into a very famous 1960s horror film. I think it was by AFI, called Burn Witch Burn. Absolutely love that movie. Can't wait to read the book it's based on. It opens up. Look at that. Absolutely great. Alfred Bester's The Demolished Man, with a crazy cover from the Penguin Science Fiction collection. And one thing you should know about Canada. So I think it's about copyright, but because we're between the United States and the UK, different editions of books, depending on who holds the copyright, were published here, or at least allowed to be sold here. And this penguin is not one of them. Specifically on the back it says it's not, for copyright reasons, this edition is not for sale in the USA or Canada. So finding it in my part of the world was a big shock to me. Because I can look on some of these. Well, maybe not these ones. But you'll see like a US... how much it's going to cost in the States, and then how much it's going to cost in Canada. And on other ones, you'll see like on some Grafton editions, it'll say, yeah, published in, available in the United Kingdom, available in Australia, available in Canada, and available in New Zealand. So Canada's a very unique position to get like different editions. Who Goes Here? By Bob Shaw. Never heard of this author before. Catherine Keir, but Polar City Blues, and it promises to be a cyberpunk noir thriller with otherworld intrigue. All the elements are here in this fast-paced, action-packed, thought-provoking adventure. Locust says there's cops, there's drug runners, there's whores and pimps, there's a wild bacterium, a lot of computer jockeying, and even more politics. There's detective work, social commentary, and lots of action. It's a strong soup and a hell of a lot of fun. You should buy this one. I guess I should read the back on this one. Polar politics. Polar City, capital of Hagar, one of a handful of worlds on which the tiny, human-dominated republic sits, uneasily squeezed between the powerful Interstellar Confederation and the enormous Core Word Alliance. When a suspected alien spy from the Confederation Embassy is found murdered, a potentially explosive political situation faces Police Chief Bates, and when talented psychic Mulligan is brought up to the scene to pick up echoes of the event, what he experiences sends him into asthmatic shock. Meanwhile, murders continue unabated, and a major crisis threatens to destabilize the Republic. Should be a great read. This one's published by Grafton. Lee Brackett's The Big Jump, published by Ace. Also published by Ace. The Dream Master by Roger Zelazny. What a cute dog. Excuse me. This is an Avon edition of Stanislaus Lem's The Futurological Congress. And Lem is also hard to come across in the wild. Out in my province, at least. So, very excited to read this. I own Solaris. I haven't read it yet. And I own the Siberiad in a Penguin edition. Also haven't read it yet. But I've taken a look at it. So can't wait to start digging into Stanislav Lem. Penguin Science Fiction. A Mirror for Observers by Edgar Pangborn. In a small Massachusetts town, two Martians, disguised as human beings, are locked in a bitter struggle for the mind of a child genius. There are other prizes too. The battle is long and bloody, and before its end, all life on Earth is threatened. This is engrossing science fiction, which displays a passionate respect for the human race. It has a picture of Pangborn on the back. And again, for copyright reasons, this is not for sale in the United States. And I think this is shillings and pence, so it must be pre-decimal. Another Penguin science fiction. John Boyd's The Rack Hills of Heaven. And this one was for sale in Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, and the USA. So copyright's a weird thing. Oh, it's a Berkeley edition. So here's a Berkeley edition of the great short fiction of Clifford D. Samac, Skirmish. Excited about this one too. I was very excited when I found this at a thrift store. It was James Chiptree Jr.'s The Walls of the World. And James Chiptree, I believe, was the pen name for Alice Sheldon or Alice Sheldon. It's one of those. I'll know next time. No idea about this one. It is a DAW. 2018 AD by Sam J. Lundwall, the European best-selling shocker. After 1984, the next target date is 2018 AD. And I picked it up just because very interesting cover. The sci-fi novel that takes up where 1984 left off. They needed the first girl born in the first minute of the first day of the first year of the 21st century. They needed her for an ad campaign that would put millions into the largest cosmetics company in Scandinavia, and from there into the accounts of the giant conglomerate that owned it, and from there into the unpublicized holding company that controlled that, and thence into a secret bank account, Swiss, that directed the holding company, and from there to the numbered box around the account, and from there to nobody knew, not even the Swiss bankers. But though the life of everyone in the world was supposed to be on taped computerized records down to the smallest details, hers was not. They knew her name, and that was all. Too uncomfortably prophetic to be just satirical science fiction, this is the book that takes up where Brave New World in 1984 left off. Hopefully it's good. It's promising something big. Now, I've seen the movie of this, Robert Sheckley's The 10th Victim, and it's an Italian film with Marcello Mastroianni from the 1960s, kind of mod sci-fi. Definitely recommend that film for a fun time. And it's about a game of assassination where someone is a victim and someone is the hunter. So you get points in this game if you survive, and if you kill, the higher your score, the better next time is, and the more money you make. At least that's the plot I remember from the film. Hopefully, the book holds up just as well as the film. Definitely recommend the film. Can't wait to read this. Now, as you notice by these TARDISes and this Dalek above my head, these Daleks above my head, I'm a Doctor Who fan and have been since the 1990s. And if you know the Cybermen from Doctor Who, they were created by Jerry Davis and Kit Pedler back in the 1960s. And in the 70s, there were a trio of books that they made when they're doing a show called Doomwatch for British television. So I found one of those books, Mutant 59, The Plastic Eaters, by Kit Pedler, Dr. Kit Pedler, and Jerry Davis, in a nice book club edition. Apparently it's about a biological time bomb. I've never seen anyone talk about the trio of Kit Pedler and Jerry Davis books on any of these channels. And this is too long to read, but I'll probably summarize it as there is something going on. There's a biological time bomb, and their research is racing against the clock in order to save the day. Definitely going to have to review this one. So, thank you everyone. I hope this wasn't too bad. Was nervous, and I'll be better next time. I absolutely love sci-fi. I absolutely love reading. And I can't wait to experience all of these other titles with you in the future. Have a good night.